The reason I want to watch it is because this is to do with Trisha Paytas. And so, for those of you who don't know who Blair White is a conservative trans woman. And she's rather controversial. They call her, she's basically, a lot of people equate her to a pick-me trans person that says things that conservatives want to hear. Now, I've seen some of her content. I think that people generally like to exaggerate. She definitely has difference of opinions as a conservative. You know, she does. I think that people are upset because she does some, you know, some of the anti-SJW shit. And people feel like she should be on the pro-SJW shit because she's trans. Which I think is weird that you want to force people into a category. But also, I kind of get it from a rights perspective. But also, it's one of those things where, like, the people on social media, not trans people, but some trans people on social media are obnoxious. Like, not even, like, okay. You know what I'm trying to say. When I mean, like, it's the young kids who are like, there's 400 gender kind of a thing, or I'm probably not portraying this correctly. But when I'm talking about, there are some young people who talk about neopronouns. They talk about gender in a weird way. They talk about sexualities and different things.
They go really in depth about gender things, like beyond what like people outside of the LGBT community are like really tuned into or prepared for.
Right.
Is that a good way to frame it?
That, but not even just that. It's not even that they go into depth. A lot of it is that it's young people who, rather than exploring their gender identity, which is totally fine, normal, I think it's a great thing for young people to explore themselves. They get very toxic and gatekeeping on a particular thing. And that's a child's mentality just generally. Like, I talk about it all the time. When I was a kid in high school, I was like really into metal and like I was very gatekeepy about that. So that's a lot of the social media trans stuff. I think that there's not a lot of room for forgiveness of ignorant people who don't understand gender or people who need more time to like really understand what the fuck's going on, which I think is reasonable. That can be very toxic. So I think that's what the internet's full of. But then Blair White is very reactionary in like a far too conservative sense, in my opinion, on a lot of her shit. So I think that's why people dislike her. So I'm happy I was able to clear up, because what I said originally sounded very transphobic. But here's the thing. I wanted to play this because there's a trend from Trisha that I don't think that people understand. And I've been talking about a lot, is when Trisha is in trouble at a particular time, she points her finger at somebody else that looks worse than her and goes, I must be okay because look at them. And I think that this short clip is a representation of that.
So I was never best friends with Trisha Paytas. We did 2 things together. I did her podcast, she did a video on my channel. Even though we weren't like best friends, we were very friendly. And I remember...
Why do people do commentary like this? I hate this. Like, I hate where people put themselves here and then there's just a weird background. There's like, you're just in a room in your house.
Because that's supposed to be real.
Really?
I mean, look at it. She's just like in her house relaxing. She's not in a
she's sitting on
studio,
the fucking floor.
But she's not in a setup studio.
No, I know, but like, think about it from a personal perspective. She's sitting on a floor. That's not normal. So, I mean, like, wouldn't you sit at your fucking kitchen table?
Where do you talk to your friends? Or
no,
like,
on the floor. Oh, of course.
Where do I sit at John Luke's house?
On a couch?
On the floor.
I honestly, I think that it's just supposed. It's obviously just for show to make it seem more real. But this is just weird. Who sits on their bathroom floor? There's probably piss all over it. At least I piss on my bathroom floor. Sometimes you get up in the middle of the night and you just go, and then I don't know. I must have a hole in the side of my penis because it fucking goes everywhere in the morning. I don't know. Let's move on.
When there was a bunch of
what? So, listen, I don't know what's happening, but I'm getting older, and I wake up in the middle of the night, and I go, and then I wake up later, and I'm like, holy fuck, I gotta clean
I go to the bathroom in the morning, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It's terrible. I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. Maybe, I think I really do have a hole in there.
Maybe.
It's like a fucking broken flute.
A strainer? A broken flute?
I'm just
recorder, hot cross buns.
I'm probably peeing through like a kidney stone, so it's
right, so that's exactly what I was thinking, but I was gonna say nothing.
It's just like... I'm probably just having kidney stones from horrible eating. It's just terrible. Men know what I'm saying. But you know what else is another problem? I'm used to higher toilets, I think, right?
I feel like you're not. Did your mom get a new toilet?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm used to higher toilets. She has low toilets. So when I pee into the toilet... Okay, we do, because I live here now. I used to live with my mother, and we had higher toilets with higher toilet water. You know what I think it is? We don't have economy of toilets at my house. So the water level's higher. In economy toilets, the water level's lower to save water.
Well, just an aside, our water level has gone down I don't know why. Something's wrong.
I'll take a look at it. Anyway, my point is that I'm 6'4", so it's a higher splash and like a higher splash radius. You're like shooting down. It's like, psh, and then it's like a bomb on D-Day, exploding everywhere. Probably an appropriate example, but it's just
Like I stand next to him when he pees, and sometimes I'm in the splash zone.
Yeah, because it hits your foot.
Yeah.
So anyway. I don't know. I'm an open book.
Drama last summer with me and Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson. Like, I felt comfortable and friendly enough with Trisha that, like, I was sending a voice memo to her and I was, like, crying in it. And, like, I won't get specific about it, obviously. But basically, like, I really, really liked Trisha. And I thought she really, really liked me. I mean, shit, she was asking me to be on her OnlyFans. Like, I forget how long ago it was. But
what? Did she do it?
We'll never know. What's that TikTok sound? Guess we'll never know.
Guess we'll never know. I was just wondering.
I remember being at a bar and I was having like a great night, and then all of a sudden I get this text from someone saying, Trisha's bashing you on TikTok. And I'm like, this is why I'm not friends with influencers, because it looks like they're friends with you and they're friendly until they can benefit from you. Like, she brought me on her podcast because she was in all this turmoil for her transgender controversy, coming out as trans. And
then she seems that she used Blair White as I'm actually in the right thing. That sounds like what happened. Like, Blair White, trans person, can I use you for social validation so that people won't think I'm a bad person?
She basically got what she wanted out of me. She wanted a trans person on her podcast to make it seem like she wasn't in the wrong for her whole trans controversy.
And you probably played into it. She probably was like, yeah, sure, Trisha, I'll be your pick-me. Honestly, it's probably what happened.
And as soon as I wasn't of use to her, she's bashing me on her TikTok.
Oh.
And it was just very hurtful. Like, I remember...
I think that Trisha just makes transactional relationships. I don't think Trisha is a morally grounded person. I think she just makes relationships and then it's like, I can use this one for something. Let me go, boom. Let me go right out of there.
I wasn't mad. I didn't respond. I didn't send her an angry text. Like, I don't do that. It was just really sad and it really hurt my feelings. So that's one example. And then I remember this other guy, like, oh my God, this guy's so cringe. This guy is a YouTuber who I think asked me to collab with him.
Why the fuck was that last 4 seconds? Anyway, I just want to show that because it sounds like Trisha will make transactional relationships, and then the second somebody is not, somebody looks worse than you, of value, and looks worse than you, it's boom. Okay, look at that person. Blair White's a bad person. I'm okay. She does that a lot, and I'm wondering what the next pivot's going to be. Because people on the chat are like, yeah, Blair White deserves it, but that's what I'm saying. Is Trisha? That's what Trisha does. She looks at somebody that you say like, yeah, deserves hate, and then she's like, look at that person, I'm okay. That's what Trisha does. That's one of the things that I've been trying to get people to understand is that all she does is that's what she does. That's how she gets away with all of her bullshit. Because she's like, look, I'm the good guy exposing the bad guy. But she's the bad guy.
I mean, that's exactly what she just did, in her video where she was saying, this is just my karma.
Yeah. Explain, what do you mean?
Because she's saying that this is just my karma. Like, people are treating me badly because I treated people badly in the past. So she didn't have anyone to necessarily point to.
Pointing to herself.
But
no, she's pointing to herself. She's like, I look at me in the past. That person's bad. I'm good now. Actually, yeah, that's funny. That's a good point. That's very interesting.